please all rise for the national anthem and after which the AU anthem. We would like to request that the men remove their caps and that we all stand in attention. Because we are, Freedom Park is an agency of the Department of Sports, Arts and Cultures, there are protocols when national anthems are sung. Here in South Africa, when we sing the national anthem, we put our hands on the side. If I may request that we do so. Thank you. Spend. Honorable Minister, I will also, and I think it's very important that we acknowledge our sign language interpreters. Ms. Ngobile Mhlweni and Ms. Charity Gwala will also be supporting us. We are here to celebrate, as we launch this exhibition, that celebrate leadership. Minister, these are the leaders who made outstanding contributions to liberation movements, to human rights, to social transformation, and the advancement of humanity. The story of leaders aims not only to celebrate their achievements, but to also educate, to inspire, and empower the current and the future generations. And we hope that as we launch, as we celebrate this guy, this crop of the crop, who have not only shown resilience, but also deep commitment to the quest of humanity, to the quest of freedom, and the quest of justice. And to welcome us and to give context, I would like to call upon my chairperson, Mr. Shaneli Adams Kruger, to give us the welcome remarks.
Dr. Jane Mufamadi, Honorable Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Mr. Gayton McKenzie, Honorable Minister of Land Reform and Rural Development, diplomatic community and members of the diplomatic community, representatives of all spheres of government, esteemed family members of the leaders we honor today, council members, management and staff of Freedom Park, council members and management of other sister entities and partners, our interfaith community, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Sanbonani, Dumelang, Molweni, Goeiemorgen. It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you all to Freedom Park on this historic to mark the official launch of the Gallery of Leaders, a space dedicated to the giants who came before us. On the walls of the gallery are the enduring reminders of those who fought for freedom, justice, human dignity, and peace. We are gathered not just to unveil portraits and stories. We are here to celebrate our shared memory and to honor the sacrifices of leaders from South Africa, our beloved continent Africa, and heroes from around the world. This event reconnects our nation and the globe with the moral foundation of our shared humanity. Minister, when Freedom Park was imagined, it was meant to be a place of healing, a place where we could acknowledge our past wounds while lighting the way towards a united, humane future. The Gallery of Leaders is an important expression of that vision. More than being a space of remembrance, the Gallery of Leaders celebrates core values like integrity, resilience, empathy, and a commitment to human dignity. The leaders that we are celebrating come from various fields, including politics, education. True leadership is not defined by titles, but by the ability to spark change and uplift others. The gallery honors the legacy of leaders from South Africa, across Africa, and wherever they encountered it. We are here to affirm that freedom is not an accident, dignity is not a gift, justice is not merely an inspiration. The ideals were fought for by individuals and communities who believed in humanity even when they were denied it. Today we inscribe their names into a permanent sanctuary of honor. I'd like to extend a special welcome to the families of the leaders we share in their memory. To the diplomatic community, we are grateful for your presence. Your attendance shows a shared belief that the history of liberation is a global story. Their stories remind us that freedom is indivisible, as it is our responsibility to protect it. The Gallery of Leaders show that South Africa's journey, and sometimes even their lives, to fight against apartheid. Beyond Africa, we honor leaders, activists, thinkers, and humanitarians whose moral clarity inspired worldwide support. Their efforts made apartheid one of the most significant moral issues of the 20th century, a call to conscience that resonated globally. As we launch this gallery today, we think of future generations. This space should inspire young people to realize that leadership is not about titles, by popularity, but by principles. It is not about wealth, but about the willingness to sacrifice for the common good. In a world facing new forms of inequality, conflict, displacement, and moral uncertainty, the lives represented here challenges us to integrity, accountability, and courage. To the young people here today, this gallery is your legacy. May it inspire you, not triumphs in our collective spirit. The Gallery of Leaders strengthen our commitment to promote reconciliation, foster social unity, preserve memory, and give honor where and deeply connected to the human values that guided the leaders whose stories enrich this place. I wish to welcome all of you to this important function. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Freedom Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, for your warm and thoughtful remarks. You have given and set the tone for this significant occasion. And here at Freedom Park, we really appreciate your leadership and your hands-on. My chairperson was here very early. Very few leaders will do that, and we appreciate that. When we see you, we know we are led. Thank you to the chairperson. I'm going to call upon our very own, the Freedom Park storytellers, to give a rendition. One of the age-old educational methods is storytelling. In the stories that we tell, that others will call myth, there are lessons to be learned, there are messages to be taken home, and there is wisdom. I would therefore like to call upon our storytellers to come and give us a rendition.
Ndibacheron, Abshen, Dumelang, Sanibonani, Lochani, aye, lona nguMagadebe, akanga ngobhunga. Yebo, siyabulela. Ukuba lena ibintsomi, ngendisithi chos ngentsomi. Umapha ungaphumi ndenzela ningavuki ngomso niphume impondo. Yeah. In 1999, the TRC went back, a place where we can reflect on the past, a place where we will honor with all the dignity they deserve those who endured pain, so that today you and us, and during apartheid, this did not happen. So namhlanje, we said we're not only stopping at recognizing those that took up arms, those that took guns, those that went onto the, where we want to remember ourselves, by ourselves, from ourselves, not only when we are told by others who we are. And namhlanje sikhumbula namakhosi. We remember our kings, we remember our queens who resisted colonialism before we could even say the word colonialism. Sicinga ohintsa bethuna, amakhosi athu amakhulu, unyana kaPhalo, into kaGcaleka. Sibakhumbula ukuthi they fought, considered a danger, so much so that when they captured and killed uHintsa, they had to take his head back to Britain so they can prove to the queen ukuthi hayi jonga la headache yakho enkulu ebesiphazamisa is gone. Kodwa namhlanje ithi Freedom Park siyamkhumbula because they did even the most nabo. Aw musirichamba ngamakhado chilwa busiku cha Matembele mudhulu wa Ramabulana chilwa busiku mwana wabavenda rumbulo rikhosi yashorirela ahe singo ahe riri Ramabulana ba phiripiri miriya baba Chiwanga Matembele. Many of them stood not only beside the leaders, not only as accompaniments of the kings. We remember that we had queens like Mantadisi, that even her name, when it is said, those that did not want to recognize and feel that in Africa, namakhoskazi ayabusa futhi ayakwazi ukukhokhela. Bambalwa ngamanga, bathi uyathakatha uMantadisi, bathi uncancisa amasoja wakhe ngebele lakhe, bathi futhi lomfazi. Kodwa namhlanje ithi Freedom Park siyamkhumbula. Singabalibali futhi nabanye abafazi abaphakamayo bathi bayamemeza Lillian Ngoyi bayamemeza. Does not mean you cannot be a mother. That doesn't mean you cannot lead. Namhlanje siyamisa lapha sithi sikhulumela nabafazi phela ukuthi imizi to one type of people. Oh, dimlibala njani lo wafika wasikhumbuza ukuthi black is beautiful. Dikhuluma ngabani ngobikho sithi naye Freedom Park ithi siyabakhumbula nabo. Sithi ubiko wafika when South Africa fell into a deep political lull, wasikhumbuza ukuthi black aniyazi black power. Black power. Wafika ubiko wacho wasifundisa ukuthi simnyama sinje, the color of our skin is not a badge. Marcus Garvey, no one remembers old Marcus Garvey. He never set foot in Africa. But wherever you go today, ask the young people, they will tell you that Garvey reminded us that a people, we have no knowledge of their past, their culture, its roots. To this day, sisayithatha leyo sithi zimfundiso zabo ababantu abamsimela basilwela. Singabalibela njani our queens who stood bathi imalapha straight on wathinta abafazi bathi wathinta abafazi bathi uzakufa straight on. Their voices were so loud and so crazy. Pitori, they had no TikTok, no WhatsApp, no Facebook, no email, but they organized umhlaba jikelele eNingizimu. Baphakama abafazi bamaphayana biza uthi Sekhukhune le ska libala bapedi ha le pepa bana le ba hopotse re Sekhukhune ha tshabe Nixon o emile ma Britain a ba betha a fetsa a diapara a bina ka tsona today ba re le ska bolela bana maka le re di khethetela re di tshile ka hore re ba bethile singasilibali ukuthi singobani siyazikhumbuzana lapha eFreedom Park namhlanje ukuthi hayikhona lelethu eliliswe siyabakhumbula omangaliso sobukwe abahamba bafaka uhlungu lonely alone sisacula bethuna sisathi bahleli bonke etilongweni bahleli bonke kwa nongqongqo bahleli bonke etilongweni bahleli kwa nongqongqo where they had locked him up so near with his other comrades, yet so far that he couldn't touch their hands. Wavuka ekuseni every day la tata ebethatha umhlaba because bakude amaqabani wakhe athi nangu umhlaba. That was his sign language. And hear my voice, but with the soil, with umhlaba wokhokho, I will remind them when I see them every day. Ukuthi ngowethu lo mhlaba nangu umhlaba. As we are doing today. Sibahle ne? Black is beautiful. This is what we are reminded by all those that the wall that speaks of many names today. That where we are going together with love for the land, love for each other, love for the self. Mahood, haibo, haibo.
Naka libitso ke Kopano Mahuhudi Albina Mahlasi. It is important for me to say all my names because a day will come where in Kapo, the wall of names, and today at the GOL, yes, the gallery of leaders. Now, as we are all gathered here from different walks of lives, we remember lives for the liberation struggle of South Africa. We welcome you to the gallery of leaders. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What leaders, our indigenous people, and Minister, that is why today we started with our interfaith prayers this morning for Thanksgiving, where our indigenous people, the Khoi and the San, who through the rituals that they performed, were teaching us about the significance of land, that land can give life. I have not seen our dean here. I'm trying to look. I will check of Land Reform and Rural Development, Minister Mzwanele Nyonso, also Congress, whom we are also honoring today. If your family members could not make it, please tell them we're live on YouTube. As you leave, we will also give you this booklet that then articulates the leaders that we are celebrating today. Minister.
Nto kaNgqosini uzusixelele ke ngeliqala ngawe nto kaGaba ntondini ibiya kudulwa ngawe Ngqosini ungakhalipha ufane noSobukwe. NgumAfrika, nto zonke kuqala ndingumAfrika. Kwi-Afrika esiza kuba kuyo iAzania ke ukutsho ungubani abahambele kule ndawo abaya kubuzwa koko kuya kudulwa ubutyebi ngani. Inkcubeko kwabanengqondo, intiyo kubarhwaphilizi. Uthetha ukuthini na? Ndithi iAfrika, iAzania izelwe ngani ma-Afrika? iAfrika, iAzania izwe lethu. iAfrika nomntu ongaziyo la aya khona, iinwele nenzipho azitsho ukuba singoobani na. Into kunayo singama-Afrika.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Gaytini Mackenzie, Deputy Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Honorable Mabe, Chairperson of the Council. Let me begin by expressing my heartfelt gratitude to Minister Mackenzie and the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture for inviting me to this solemn and august occasion. The thought of embarking upon such a noble venture indeed marks a major chapter in our continuing quest as a nation, not only to remember the immense contribution, sacrifice, suffering, and dedication of these heroes and heroines. This gesture also serves as an eminent marker and lodestar guiding us to never forget our heroes and heroines, and to never allow the excesses that they fought against and the cause they died for to fade away with the sands of time. We are gathered today at Freedom Park, a site consecrated to the memory and struggle of our forebears, for the opening of the Gallery of Leaders. This gallery is not just a collection of names and portraits. It is a profound space for introspection, recognition, commemoration, and memorialization. The act of commemorating these leaders is an essential component of nation building, as it enables us to draw strength from their sacrifices and contributions. Program Director, the memory of all those that we are honoring here today will always be etched in our collective minds as South Africans and as Africans. In our collective mind and in iconography as liberation fighters, we pay homage to the unbreakable resistance spirit of the iconic individuals featured in the Gallery of Leaders. Despite their differing ideologies, because their lives epitomize various strands of the struggle for changing our country and others on the African continent for the better. Their inclusion in the Gallery of Leaders thus serves to promote unity by showcasing the contributions made across all political and racial divides, thus reinforcing a shared heritage of struggle. This occasion is also an opportunity to educate future generations on the roles that these stalwarts and pioneers played in bringing about the changes that many now enjoy. In spite of the fact that in some cases reversals did occur, succeeding generations, inspired by those who came before us, have been able to bring the historic processes back on track. That is precisely why it is important to keep the memory of those who pioneered the leadership of these struggles. As the Pan-Africanist Congress, we are particularly proud to see recognition being given to the contributions of our founding leaders, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe and Zephania Likwane Mtuping. And thanks to you, Minister. Everybody has forgotten about them. The leaders of the Pan-Africanist Congress represent an outlook and perspective on the liberation struggle that was inspired by African nationalism and Pan-Africanism. Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe's monumental act of defiance and positive action, although it was met with immense brutality perpetrated by apartheid state in the form of Sharpeville massacre, it contributed towards the deeper internationalization of the South African struggle and forced the world to reckon with brutality of apartheid colonialism. Sobukwe championed the mantra of Africa for Africans, the return of the usurped land of the Africans to its rightful owners, and a non-racial democracy where race would be irrelevant and all who owe their only loyalty to Africa and recognize the democratic rule of the African majority would be regarded as Africans. This contribution to the discourse of national unity was transformative. The apartheid regime feared Sobukwe's influence so much that in 1964, after he had completed the 3-year sentence that was imposed upon him for his role in leading the campaign, Sharpeville massacre, it passed draconian legislation that was to be known the Sobukwe Clause. In terms of this legislation, Sobukwe was subjected to indefinite imprisonment without trial on solitary confinement on the notorious Robben Island. Even after his release in 1969, he never enjoyed any form of freedom as he was banished and held under house arrest until he died on 28 November 1978. Zephaniah Mtupeng, known as Uncle Zeph or as the Lion of Azania, was the most tortured political prisoner during the over 20 years that he spent incarcerated in various prisons of the apartheid regime, including Robben Island. Mutupeng played a key role in mobilizing students before and during the 1976 uprising, thus directly connecting the original Africanist principles to the next generation of freedom fighters. For these activities, he was sentenced to a total of 18 years after the Marathon Bethel trial of 18 PAC activists in 1978. We welcome the fact that the gallery includes leaders from all movements in our country whose contributions were essential to nation building, unity, and the final transition to democracy, such as President Nelson Mandela, Albert Lutuli, Oliver Tambo, and Steve Bandubiko. In our view, the importance of this approach lies in the fact that it gives recognition to the fact that our struggle was approached from different perspectives. This gallery of leaders challenges us all, the current generation, to reflect upon the legacy that leaders have left to us and to commit to the hard work that still lies before us in our quest to transform and develop our country and continent. Asante sana.
Thank you, Minister, for your thoughtful words and message of support. As you said in the holding room, I must say this, Minister, here, we really appreciate your commitment. When we didn't see the response, we had to make an intervention yesterday, and the minister was in the Eastern Cape, and he was not aware, but he said, I will be there. And the minister, it's here. That is commitment, Minister, and we appreciate that. Your contribution reminds us of the shared Pan-African vision that underpins the liberation struggle. And I must say, this is the bedrock of this gallery of leaders that we are launching today. But I think something that you said, that this struggle that we fought was not for one person or one political party, but it was the struggle by humanity for humanity. And that is why we must say this loudly, to appreciate the international support. We have representatives here from various embassies whose leaders also contributed to the liberation that we enjoy here in South Africa, showing that liberation transcends borders. it is a story of humanity. And some of these international communities became our voices when our voices were muted. And for that, we really appreciate. I think we need to say thank you properly through a rendition, a traditional performance, or is it the Inkosi Albert Lutuli? Are you ready? Okay, I'm gonna use my prerogative as the chairperson and call upon the Inkosi Albert Lutuli School to give us a rendition while the traditional dancers get ready.
Each year in South Africa, we face a rise in sites. Each year in South Africa, each name in South Africa, we find out of the importance of this story. It is not just a narrative of a struggle, hope, and resilience. It is a path that reminds us that this today we celebrate not only our giant but also the women and men who dared their dream for a better tomorrow. The presence of leaders like Lillian Ngoyi, Ruth First, Shana Duncan has vital role in the struggle for freedom.
Today, as we honor these leaders, we also reaffirm our commitment to honor their values that they championed: freedom, justice, and equality. We are called together to unite as a continent to forge bonds of solidarity that transcend our differences. The legacy of these leaders implores us to stand together against oppression, to uplift the marginalized and to see. We honor their memory and ensure that their sacrifices are not in vain.
As we move forward, let us draw inspiration from their words and action. Let us remind ourselves that the work of liberation is ongoing, and each of us has a role to play in shaping a future that reflects the ideals of justice and equality for all.
The Gallery of Leaders serves as a hope and a source of guidance for today's generation, urging us to reclaim our narrative and restore our.
Let us take this moment to reflect on the significance of this day. Let us celebrate our heroes and heroines, acknowledging their sacrifices and the legacy they have left behind. Let us, as we stand in this gallery, let us pledge to carry forth their legacy to free, united, and free Africa. Together we can ensure that the flames of freedom continues to burn brightly, illuminating the generations to come. I am an African. I am an African. I am an African. I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the lakes, the rivers, the deserts, the trees, the flowers, the seas, and the ever-changing seasons that define the face of our native land. I am an African. I am an African.
Not because I was born here, but because my heart beats with Africa's. I am an African. Not because my skin is black, but because my mind is engaged by Africa. I am an African. Not because I live on its soil, but because my soul is at home in Africa. When Africa weeps for her children, my cheeks are stained with tears. When Africa honors her elders, oh, Baumkulu, Thomas Sankara, Julius Nyerere, Patrice Lumumba, Samora Machel, Augusto Neto, Fidel Castro, Marcus Garvey, Kenneth Kaunda. The glory of queens, Queen Anenzinga, Empress Sweden, Queen Nandi, Queen Makedia. Glory of kings, King Tejayo, King Mushweshwe, King Insa, King Sikukune, King Makanda, King Haile Selassie, King Shaga. Chant for the spirits of Africa. Chant for the spirits of our forefathers and elders. Maibuye! Africa! Yusuf Dadoo. Ruth First, Shana Duncan, Lillian Goyi, Winnie Mandela, Helen Joseph, and Charlotte Mantleke.
A silent idea is louder than a spoken. Our contribution has to be given, not only for the liquidation, but for the colonial system, and also for the liquidation of ignorant and primitive forms of social organization.
Our continent without fear from the future growth in us.
They grieve, they live. The grieved land of Africa is in a harmonious consensus contained in the honest blood of men, in the strong desire of men, in sincerity, in the pure and simple rightness of the star's existence.
They live, they grieved lands of Africa because we are living. Imperishable particles of the lands of Africa.
Knowledge is not enough to change the conditions of black people. Understand that we need to create programs and systems that will empower us economically, spiritually, and mentally. We need courage and action. Honorable philosopher, Dr. Marcus Garvey. He always said to me, take every advantage when there is none, make it for yourself. He also said to me, always try to associate with people from whom you can learn something. All the knowledge you want is in the world, and all you have to do is to go and seek it.
He once said to me, the black skin is not the badge of shame, but rather a glorious symbol of national greatness.
He also said to me,
The people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots.
Today we have listened to the message of Commander-in-Chief Fidel Castro. We would like to pay tribute to his revolutionary dedication to the cause of an ordinary man, an outstanding leader whose name has become a household name, certainly among people who are struggling against imperialism, colonialism, and all these vices, certainly among people who are like the Cuban people who are conducting armed struggle for the liberation of their countries and their people. We have always been inspired by the mere mention of this name. This Nobel Peace Prize is awarded to Chief Albert Luthuli from the Republic of South Africa. I want you all to know that I'm accepting this Nobel Peace Prize not for myself alone, but on behalf of all the people of South Africa who have played their part striving for peace and cooperation between races. Quite long ago, my forebears extended a hand of friendship to the people of Europe when they came to that continent. What happened to that hand of friendship? Only history can say. It is inevitable that in working for freedom, some individuals and some families have to take the lead and suffer. The road to freedom is via the cross. For man to behold, he should participate in issues that affect his community. I believe that we all can do our best, whatever the difficulties are, in appreciation of this glorious South Africa. Development is freedom, and beyond freedom is self-determination. I am no more a communist than Dr. Verwoerd himself. What is more, he is a fascist and I am not, frail and with failing hearing.
In the dawning hours, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe left his home in Mufulo, Soweto, and began a 5-kilometer walk to Orlando Police Station. In so he was doing personally, putting into action a call for a non-decisive and non-violence campaign. As the president of the PAC, Sobukwe had called all black South Africans on that day to leave their passports at home, walk to the nearest police station, and demand arrest. Enough is enough. We demand arrest. Enough is enough. We demand arrest.
Controlled and unarmed, the policeman at the police station became so nervous and began firing to the crowd. When it was all over, 69 people were dead and 108 were wounded. Many of them were children and women. Your worship, we believe in one race, only the human race. To which we belong. The history of that race is a long struggle. We would have betrayed the human race if we haven't done our share. We stand for equal rights for all individuals, and I am not afraid of consequences.
I am not afraid of consequences. I am not afraid of consequences.
Steve Biko, it is better to die for an idea that will live than to live for an idea that will die. Being black is not a matter of pigmentation. Being black is a reflection of mental attitude.
Chris Hani once said, the imperialists have been very fast to learn that it is not a color of a man that is important, but a sort of social system that a given people adopt after independence.
In the name of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, I, Oliver Reginald Tambo, declare this year as the Year of the Woman and charge the democratic and patriotic force of our country with the task of joining and mobilizing. It will be a special task this year to organize and mobilize the women's force, powerful, active, and united force for a revolutionary change. Wathinta bafasi, wathinta imbokodo, wathinta bafasi, wathinta imbokodo, wathinta bafasi.
Wathinta imbokodo, wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokodo. Imbokodo, wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokodo, wathinta abafazi. Wathinta abafazi, wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokodo. You strike a woman, you strike a rock. You strike a woman, you strike a rock. Affected whether you know it or not. In 1956, 9 August, the women marched to the Union Building in Pretoria to protest against the pastor, Amatombas, and Soros, who marched, suffered solitary confinement and house arrest. Ma Albertina Sisulu, Ma Winnie Madikizela Mandela, and many, many more powerful South African women.
How many more names come to my mind? The women are the powerful force, which we always remember. In Sipedi, Musaru Utwarati Bakabuhaleng. I wish I was a magician, so that whenever there's crisis, I will just say, women and balance of Africa, break the silence. Of women that strike the strength of our men. Women are so strong that even when they cry, tears don't last for so long. Women, mothers and wives, break the silence. Only a few people know remarkable women who had full impact in the African politics. We all must admire women for their contribution and standing commitment. Remember the role of the women in the struggle for democracy in South Africa, and to honor the role that the women had played in the society.
And this is why I say, Watinda Mina, Watinda Bogot, Watinda Tina, Watinda Bafas.
You strike a woman, you strike a rock.
I, Lillian Goyi, I do not want men who wear skates under their trousers. If they do not want to act, let us women exchange garments with them. I, Helen Joseph, I want to be here when my country is free, to know that I've earned my place in it.
Ruth Mampati, we are here not because somebody has done us a favor, but because we were there when it was fought for, and we're part of the fight for freedom.
Winnie Madikizela Mandela, I am the product of the masses of my country and the product of my enemies. I am Winnie Madikizela Mandela.
I, Charlotte Makhomu Manyamaxeke. This work is not for yourself. Kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people. But live with them. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. No message.
Than to have education without knowing your history. Those who know must teach.
We are coming together to build Africa for our dreams, for ourselves and our generation. It is for Africans to build Africa, or to have Africa taken away from us by any other.
Those who know must teach. We shall no longer sit, pray, and hope for the transformation of Africa. Our generations and all generations to come shall come together in unity and in determination to rebuild a broken Africa. This is a long journey that needs time and everyone's contribution. So if you find yourself here, know that you are here for a purpose and you carry responsibility to rebuild the broken Africa. Those who know must teach.
I, Nelson Mandela, I have fought against black domination and white domination. I have cherished the idea of a society where every person is equal and lives in peace and harmony. It is an idea which I will live for, but if needs be, it is an idea which I am prepared to die for.
Never and never again shall it be that this beautiful nation will again experience the oppression of one by another. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Minister, we gave these kids 3 days. And because this is what they came out with. So that's why you saw the naps, because normally we give them enough time and a theme. Our future is in good hands. And it also shows that the name of the school did not just carry Inkosi Albert Luthuli. They understand the leader that they're honoring. And the Luthuli family is here. You must be proud. With that beautiful rendition, I'm going to call my chairperson back, Ms. Chaneli Adams-Kruger, to introduce the minister to give us the main message for the day. as she's coming here, just also to tell you, Minister, that the South African State Theatre TV is broadcasting live here. And again, another platform where you can watch when you go.
Thank you, Program Director. Wow, what a performance. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, everyone, for arranging that, CEO, and obviously the school principal and the leaders. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the work that we celebrate here today would not be possible without the ongoing support of the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. The ministry has consistently advocated for the protection and revitalization of our heritage, understanding that a nation without memory lacks direction. It is fitting that the keynote address for this launch be delivered by none other than our Minister, Mr. Gayton McKenzie. And it's now my honor to invite the Minister to the podium, Honorable Minister Gayton McKenzie, Minister of Sports, Art and Culture. Minister, the floor is yours.
Program Director, Dr. Jane Mufumari, the CEO of Freedom Park, Chairperson of the Freedom Park Council, Ms. Shani Lee Adams Kruger, Council members of Freedom Park, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Eritrea, Mr. Saleh Omar, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps, President of the Pan-African Congress, Minister Mzwanele Nyonso, also serving as the Minister of Rural Development and Land Reform, also the President of the PAC, and also one of my greatest allies in the government of national unity. Just so you know, when we formed the government of national unity, we were still checking each other out. And we had a debate and with the Freedom Front Plus, an informal debate. And we said, let's look for a minister that can say who's right between you and me, Minister Groenewald. And Minister Nyonso passed. As Minister Nyonso passed, I said, yeah, let's ask Minister Nyonso. And he agreed with the people of Freedom Front Plus. And later I called him one side, I said, Mhlegas, what was that about? He said, no, man, you must understand. The Freedom Front Plus is the white PAC, so we are linking somewhere. Deputy Minister, everybody calls her peace, but I call her war because she fights for women. When they were speaking about women here, I said, I'm sure you're the one that was teaching the young kids today. To Honorable Peace Mabe, you are welcome, Deputy Minister. To all the traditional leaders, families of the honored leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today, at Freedom Park, we gather in a place of deep memory and collective hope to mark a milestone in our shared journey. The official launch of the Permanent Gallery of Leaders. Now, I want to speak from the heart. And I tell you why. Because everyone in this, sitting in this gallery here, you know when you eat KFC, you know who started KFC. You know the founder of KFC. Some of you even know the spices. Because KFC has made sure that we never forget who is the founder, who is the #1 chef of KFC, who came up with KFC. They've, over decades, they still have adverts talking about the Colonel. We know his story. We see him when you buy KFC, you see him. So there's so many lessons to be learned from what KFC is doing. They show us the importance of not forgetting history. KFC will never go anywhere if they forget where they are from. But in South Africa, young people today, some of our kids, I look at my son, one of my sons and his friends said Nelson Mandela is a sellout. And I said to them, call me your friends. I said, why you call Nelson Mandela a sellout? We are poor, we have nothing, we see the whites have everything. And I realized in that moment that it is a failure, not on the part of the children, but it's a failure on the part of us as leaders who have not correctly articulated the story of Nelson Mandela. And we must admit that nowhere in the history did we ever imagine, and you are out of touch if you don't know what the young people think of Nelson Mandela. You are totally out of touch if you sit here today and you're not aware that young people have those thoughts of the great Nelson Mandela. Robert Sobukwe, one of the most feared leaders by the apartheid regime. I went to Robben Island prior to becoming a minister. I took my kids to Robben Island. Upon coming to Robben Island, we were taken on a tour, minister. When the tour stopped, I asked them, why have you not mentioned the great Mangaliso Sobukwe? Why have you not taken us to the house that he was, to his cell and the house that he was banished to? They said, hey, minister, they said, hey, sir, politics. Hey, we can't do that. Why can't you do that? Hey, we were told not to take people to Mangaliso Sobukwe's. And this, what I'm telling you, is a fact. For some of you that's visited Robben Island, I've made the point when I became minister, one of the first things to do is to make sure that I'm not a member of the PAC. But I've made sure as the minister and the deputy minister, we said our history should never be erased. The truth should stand as a beacon for future generations. Today, when you go to Robben Island, you will find a statue of Robert Sobukwe alongside Nelson Mandela at Robben Island. Because you cannot, some people, they are so, I want to get the correct word. Some of us, you are factionalist. You even bring factionalism into history. And history has no blank pages. You are so factionalist even in history. And that's why when you go to Robben Island today, Honorable Minister, you will find when you talk about history at Robben Island, you would swear that all the freedom fighters were men. Because that's the story they've been telling us when you visit. That's the story they tell our children. But they don't tell the full story. They don't say the first woman on Robben Island was a woman called Krotua. Krotua was the first woman on Robben Island. So today, when you go to Robben Island, Honorable Minister, you will find the statue of the first woman at Robben Island meeting you there, Krotua. They want to write history of the only contribution that young people has made to the struggle was the contribution of June 16, which is so far from the truth. There were people that were part of June 16, and they paid a further price. They went to Robben Island under the leadership of Khotso Siahlule. And when you go to Robben Island today, you will find the statue of the youth leader of that time, Khotso Siahlule, at Robben Island. A lie is being told that South Africa, we delivered our freedom by ourselves. This freedom was a collective effort of different countries. Different countries contributed towards the freedom that we are having now. Many are saying, Mackenzie, you see, you act like this freedom. You talk about Abahambe. Mackenzie, you talk about Abahambe like this freedom was fought alone. No, this freedom was not fought alone. Zimbabwe helped us. Angola helped us. Nigeria helped us. They helped us to be free. They didn't help us for people to come here and sell drugs here and sell our children into prostitution. They didn't help us to come and take our jobs. They helped us to be free. Marli Sabaniti. So Runari Safari because they've helped us. You know, Namibian prisoners were on Robben Island. They were fighting alongside us for our freedom. But Namibian prisoners, if you go today, we were never told about Namibian prisoners, political prisoners. But Peace Mabe and myself, we said we must not tell half the story. Because if we're going to tell half the story, Peace will tell the story of the ANC leaders. Mackenzie will tell the story of the PA leaders. I will even invent leaders even if the PA wasn't there. I will say there was a man that was there from the PA. We are free because of the PA. That happens when you allow lies to creep into writing our history. But we've taken, together with the deputy minister, we've taken a posture that history is not always sweet. History is not what we want. History is what happened. And we must tell not half a story. We must tell a full story. And we must tell our own story. Because when you allow the lion to tell the story of the Springbok, he's going to tell a story that the Springbok is a coward. So, Freedom Park, I salute you, Jane. I salute you, Sanili, that this will be a place where all stories will be told. Somebody was saying to me, we must not tell the story of W.E.B. Du Bois, because America does not want us at the G20. What does that got to do with history? We can't now change history because we are offended. W.E.B. Du Bois was a leader. He was a change maker. He was a past creator. Donald Trump, W.E.B. Du Bois. It doesn't want history. We cannot change history. And that is what I want to say to you. There's no relation with me and the PAC or my party. But the truth of the matter is, this freedom was fought by different people, different parties that made different sacrifices. And their stories deserve to be told. We are not going to be told about heroes that never existed. People sacrifice, and my message to everybody here today, we must blame ourselves for young people that speak ill of Nelson Mandela. We have failed as leadership. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years away from his children, away from his family, for us to be free today, together with all the other leaders that was on Robben Island. You know, we honored for the first time, myself and the Deputy Minister, Peace Mabe, And you'll see I'll always mention the deputy minister. Because you know we are talking together, we are saying this one will not. We are a team that works together. I'm not a minister that will come here and take all the credit. All the good things that you are seeing, you must know it was cooked in the kitchen of Mackenzie and Mabe for South Africa. You know, I went to look at the history of Robben Island. And I got a copy for Deputy Minister Peace Mabe. And we went through all the names and we said we must honor these people. Nobody knows these people were in Robben Island. We went to Robben Island. Today, you will find a plaque of each and every one that was at Robben Island. When you get there, everybody that set foot on Robben Island, you will see the plaque of Robben Island. Their names are there. When we invited 5,000 people to go to Robben Island, and of the 5,000 people that are alive, I saw grown men cry when they see their names being with their grandchildren. You say, Grandpa told you, Grandpa was. I saw them cry tears. So we must not take these things for granted. I only got 2 complaints, Minister. The one complaint was from a family who said their name was spelled incorrectly. We fixed that. Another complaint was from a family member of mine that said, as a minister, how can I forget to put the plaque of my own family that was at Robben Island? So I said, let me go check. I could not find my uncle. I look everywhere. I could not find my uncle. I checked. I went back. I said, how long were you at Robben Island? He said, 1 day. I said, what happened? He said, they took me to Robben Island, but I was so dangerous, they had to remove me. I then checked, only to find out that my uncle was wrongfully sent to Robben Island. At the reception, they realized the mistake they've made. And he never went into the cell. So when I confronted him, Ari marakiri u minister rukatsa frikikene ma. Uetsa jwang. So Minister and members, I want to speak to you in conclusion about something very profound. I want to first tell you, because we are from different political parties here, I want to say to you, you must listen very carefully, because what I'm telling you now is fact. The voters of South Africa has taken a decision. The voters of South Africa has taken a decision that they will not give power to one party. They want a mixed masala. And first, I want to congratulate the African National Congress. Because many said when the ANC would lose total power, the country will go into chaos. But the ANC has lived up to the constitution that they wrote, that when you lose power, you must make space for Bo Mackenzie Bakene. They must come in, Bo Nyonso, Bo John Steenhuisen. So the first point I want to make is to congratulate the African National Congress. Other countries, I don't want to mention them, you know them. There would have been, the army would have taken over. Who would have seen a coup. But Matamela, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa said, no, I accept the election results. Now to show you the beauty of President Ramaphosa and what he's managed to achieve. It was not easy to have me and the DA, PA and the DA in one government. I remember the Deputy President, His Excellency Paul Mashatile, put me on a list to Japan GNU was still fresh. So we get there, I see John Steenhuisen is also on the list. I'm early at the airport, but I want him to first go. So I saw him coming. I said, I must stand behind him. I wanted to see, is he sitting in business class? Because I'm in business class. If he was going to economy, I would also have gone to economy. Because I knew I will read Mackenzie flew business class. So we get there. We got to Japan. The deputy president says, Minister Mantashe didn't make it. Minister Mackenzie, you know a lot about mining. Will you do the mining presentation? I said, was my eyes closed? He says, fine. Then the next day I must do a presentation to the government of Japan. I got flu, but a serious flu, not a manga flu. I'm like, hey, don't tell me I'm going to bring a new COVID to South Africa. So as we go, Minister, I go to the chemist. But the pharmacist does not know English. He also does not know street English or street language. I'm going like, he does, he's like, yeah. The more I try to explain to this man, then I realized, I must leave because he will give me birth prevention tablets. I will get prevention tablets here. So I come back, Your Excellencies. As I enter the hotel, John Steenhuisen come, my political enemy. He looks at me, he says, Minister, you don't look well. I said, hey, I got flu. He says, wait just here. 2 minutes. He left. After 2 minutes, he comes back with tablets. Lots of tablets. He says, you must take 6, 4, 2, 3. I think, me, I'll take your tablets. I guess, I'm not going to die so early in your hands. You want to kill me so far in Japan. So I'm being collegial. I take the tablets. I'm just being collegial, chairperson. I get to the room, I'm like, I'll never take these tablets. I'm going to sleep with my flu. Whatever happens must happen, but not in the hands of John Steenhuisen. But then the headache became so, it was throbbing. The snot was everywhere. I took out my phone. I took a picture of the tablets. I wrote to my baby, I said, baby, if I don't wake up tomorrow morning, just tell the president in the walks at 6:30, John Steenhuisen gave me these tablets. I eventually took the tablets, and the tablets worked like a bomb. The next day, I was 100%. Now, the moral of the story is, I wanted to show you how far we have come as a government of national unity. Under the leadership of President Ramaphosa. Now, you might read, we politicians, when there's cameras, we get very excited. You even say things when you get home, you're like, ish, why did I say that? So, I want to tell you that GNU is solid. I'm not telling you something I've read. I'm not telling you something I've seen on TV. I am part of the GNU. And I'm here today to tell you that the GNU is very solid. We are united. We are clear. We must fix South Africa. And the greatest news I have for you, we have turned the corner. I'll show you 3 examples, not stories, that we've turned the corner as the GNU. Number 1, in the 3rd quarter, for the first time, we've created close to 300,000 jobs in South Africa. Number 2, we look at the rand dollars. The rand is at the strongest ever. That's where the GNU passed. Number 3, inflation is at its lowest It's record level low. That for me is my message today. To say to you, I was saying to my ANC comrades Friday evening, the president hosted us for a dinner. I thanked them for being collegial with us, but I told them, I hear your speeches, even when Peace Mabe, the deputy minister, speaks. She says to the people, I would listen to her speeches. She says, Makabani, comrades, make sure we don't come back as a GNU. Make sure you bring us the numbers. So I always listen to her saying the ANC is coming back. Today I want to say to my force, Peace Mabe, Walora, you are dreaming. You should never have made us taste power. We are coming back by fire or by force. The GNU is forever. We are together forever. The people want the GNU. You know, even my friends in MK and EFF, and they will ask me, how's the GNU? Kere munati fela. They asked me, how's it? I said, yeah. I even tell them things that don't exist. I said, in the GNU, if you're hungry, you just press a button. You have your own private chef. You know, last week in Parliament, 2 weeks ago, I stood up and I said something about MK. And they all stood up in EFF. They said, blue lights. Mackenzie, blue lights. I looked at my watch. I said, hey. It's 4:30. Traffic is bad. You must leave. Stop screaming here. I will overtake you. Ladies and gentlemen, on a much more serious note, I want to say to you that South Africa is turning the corner. Leave those that, you know, you can remove anybody in your party. Anybody has the right to remove. But when we talk about President Ramaphosa, you talk about the state president. Leave those ones that are factional that come, the president is going nowhere. I'm telling you today, you'll read things, people say the president is going, hauna mo ayante. He's going to serve his term. We will support him. Who will form a coalition with them? You're going to change the president the way that made us ministers. Then we must support you. You are Shaya. I want it to be clear here. You see, it must be very clear. No, Haritsweri, EFF, MK, Mackenzie guy. Kitali makata kopili. Matamela must serve his 2 terms because he's leading us in the right way. Imagine, we're going to remove the president. You and who? Mackenzie, which camp are you in? I don't know who camp am I in, but I know who appointed me and made me honorable. You called me a bandit. He came, he made me honorable, Mackenzie. Now you want the man that made me honorable. Kimujigele. I'm not mad. That man is doing a good job. Hey, caretaker president must come in. What caretaker? Are we caretaker people? Even those ex-presidents, they must just retire now, be with their children and grandchildren. It's now the time to say bye-bye to the grandchildren because leave this thing for Runa Batuba, the future. Don't influence the youth negatively. The president is doing a great job. Ex-presidents must just relax with the grandchildren and not come and try to cause trouble here. So to everybody here, relax. I'm speaking for South Africa. We are united as one. All races. Haribatli your factionalism here. We are working together. We must build this country. Look, Peace, how nice I work with the Deputy Minister, Peace Mabe. People even think because she looks like a colored. They even say, this one, this one is a colored. On a more serious note, I want to thank the chairperson. Minister, I also need to thank you for, you have an elective conference. Funny things like elective conference he must go to now. He goes to during the elective conference, he still came here because it shows you how serious he takes his leaders and the Lion of Africa, Brazev, Robert Mangalusos Subukwe. I want to thank you for coming. You know, people like to praise me. Hey, Mackenzie. Let me tell you, I do all the fun stuff. My deputy minister does all the hard work. Can we give my deputy minister a great hand of applause? I sometimes feel sorry for her. Even her ideas, people are like, hey, Mackenzie was Sebetsa. And then it's her idea. So I appreciate you, DM. It's an absolute pleasure working with you. I'm telling you, you are the future. You love people. You stand up for what is right. And I've got the world of respect for you. When I heard that, you know, when your father gives you a name, I know the people that got Bible names, they are full in prison. Bible names, Joseph, doing a life sentence out, Joseph. Nemehia, Israel. Prison is full of those names. So sometimes you give a name, then the person doesn't live up to the name. So when I heard the name Peace, I'm like, yeah, I'm going for war here. That's what name is, Peace. We are going for war. To the CEO, to my staff, to everybody, I just want to say to you, and to my staff that wrote the long speech, my apologies, blame these people. Mr. Nyonso said everything I wanted to say. So I didn't want to repeat what he said. That's why I didn't read from the speech. To everybody that came today, I want to thank you. To the families, to the ambassadors, to the representatives of countries, we do appreciate you. You are truly the people that when it is dark for us, we know we can rely on you. During the G20, others didn't come, but your countries were here. And everything went well. And I want to thank you, your excellencies, your country, from my president to your president. I want to say thank you for coming. To the traditional leaders, to the children in 3 days. I will look at these kids like, yo, I'm old. How do they remember all this stuff? And the storytellers of Robben Island, the cameraman, everybody here. I want to thank everybody that came today. The good thing about today, everything was good, but I'll tell you the great thing. The last function I came to here was so well organized, but the end, I called the CEO. I said, you must never do what you did here today. It's the last time you do that. There was not real food. That was these little things here. People said the whole day. And because I know her, she's a dynamic CEO, she said, it will never happen again. So today is the first test to see what are we going to eat. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. I had to change the menu. Let's give the Minister another round of applause. We really appreciate the Minister's reflection, and he spoke from the heart, and I think that is as authentic as it comes. Minister always complains about us scripting him, telling him what to say. And I think the takeaway, Minister, from your speech, first for South Africans, that unity is the power, as the song says. It is really important. We come a long way as South Africans in our diversity. And therefore, we are at the time that we are called upon to unite and be together. But also you have reminded us in your reflections that history is history. And as much as people, we may like to interpret, rephrase, reformulate, especially academics, Prof. Maniraj, but I think what happened has happened, and we need to preserve that because this is what inspires us. And indeed, you did well by talking from the heart. I wanted to impress you with few quotations, but the kids just stole all of them, so I didn't know what to say anymore. But I think the takeaway is that we need to preserve these memories. We need to learn the lessons from the bad so that the good can come for our country. We need to inspire society. And we need to celebrate the great achievement that our country has made. Sometimes we're very hard on ourselves. Sometimes we tend to be very pessimistic. But there is a lot that we have achieved. And for me, this is the takeaway from the minister's reflections. And indeed, what a better place than here at Freedom Park, because Freedom Park is for all people, especially South Africans, but the continent and the global village, because our experiences were shaped by your experiences and your contributions as well. So, as the minister says, irrespective of who you are, politically, religiously, culturally, when you come to Freedom Park, you find yourself reflected one way or the other. As I call my chairperson of the core business, Ms. Barbara Watson, I'm going to now call upon the traditional performances to come and render an item. And when Ms. Watson has finished her remarks after the rendition, I will call for a musical item before I come back so that I can come and make the announcements. We are waiting. Are you ready? Yes, you can come through. I will now like to call upon Ms. Barbara Watson, a council member here and the chairperson of the core business committee of Freedom Park, to give us a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Protocol observed, but Minister Mackenzie, I have to thank you. You know, at Freedom Park, we've had so many events before the G20, around the G20, and now, but whenever we asked for you, you have always been there to come and support Freedom Park. Deputy Minister Mabe, we also want to thank you for being here with us. To a large extent, the Minister has already thanked you, the people that are here, and hopefully the many that are watching on YouTube. You know, a lot of human rights activists often refer to South Africa's struggle for freedom as one of the world's biggest human rights campaign that was global in nature. And I guess today, and the gallery of leaders that we are launching attests to that. And in many ways, a lot of people find it difficult to understand why South Africa as a country feels very strongly about international solidarity. We are who we are because of that international solidarity, and I hope in many years to come we will continue to keep to those tenets. It is also very South African to care about the others. People know us about Ubuntu, Butu. We are who we are because of all of you, all of these leaders that were launched today, and the citizens of their countries. These leaders didn't only come out of Africa, they also came from the greater continent of Africa, our own continent, and all other continents of the world. To the families of those who were memorialized today, thank you for being with us. We love having you here because it makes everything that we do real and human. I also want to thank, as the minister said, the various ambassadors who are here, business people who are here, and the general community that has come to support us. We value your presence, we value your contribution to Freedom Park, and it is a shame the students have already left. We would love to have had them here still, to thank them in person and ask them to continue to do what they do, internalize the history of South Africa. I know that I'm standing between you and the lunch that Minister Mackenzie told us never to not have. I was actually standing next to the CEO when he gave that order and said, if you don't have money, get in touch with my office. So it is true that, but to me, it really spoke to the humanity of the minister. On that particular day, we had hosted the President of France, President Macron, and our defense force, the police, they had been at Freedom Park from the afternoon until the evening. And they had to stand without anything to eat, and I could really understand Minister Mackenzie's exasperation at us. and we have taken that call seriously. Before I conclude, I just want to ask all of you one little thing. You are seeing only a portion of Freedom Park. Freedom Park is a huge complex. Some of you have probably also read that we recently won an award for the way we look. But to maintain an establishment like this costs a lot of money. The artifacts that are in some of the area, the closed areas, require special equipment to keep them fresh and authentic, and that costs a lot of money. So, to ordinary citizens of South Africa, I want to ask you, please come and visit Freedom Park. Every time you come through our gates and pay, it increases our revenue. To companies that are here, every time you have events, don't always run to hotels. I won't mention them by name. We do have facilities to cater for that. Please do come here. Government departments, you don't have to struggle with parking when you come and have an event at Freedom Park. And then you have this beautiful space. The embassies, you also have trade missions. Please do tell them about us. Ask them to call us. And I'm sure Dr. Mufamadi, our CEO, and her team will be more than happy to meet with you and share with you some of the projects you can co-sponsor or sponsor. Your corporate social responsibilities, this is the place for you to come and invest in. And of course, if you have hard cash, we also welcome that. And with that, that is the message I would really like for you to take home in the new year. And in closing, for those of you who celebrate Christmas, I would like to wish you all a blessed Christmas. And those who do not celebrate Christmas, a happy holiday. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Watson. I'm sure the band, as you're getting ready, are you ready? A short rendition, then I'll come and make the announcements. Thank you so much. I'm here now to make the announcements. As we really appreciate your presence here as per Ms. Watson's vote of thanks, we just want to say we appreciate the support. We had the tremendous support. The Kotane families here, the Marx families here, the Zulu families here, the Lutuli families here, the Makeke families here, our traditional leaders, the Mpepura Maburana families here, King Hintsa family here, the South African Princesses Royal Network is here, the Davana family is here, the Mrejana Royal family is here, and our partners, the foundations. We have seen you, the South African Gallery of Legends, Maria, the Dambuza Foundation, the Chenwani Foundation, the Nalisa, led by Mevaleka, the representations. We have seen you. These are some of the partners who have also contributed in our research, in our content, and supported us in various ways. And we have seen you, Mr. Mpomutse from the Black Management Forum, the president. As we go to open the gallery, I've been asked to give you the order. Firstly, I've been asked to inform the media to leave first. They will show you it's just around the corner so that you are properly settled. And then the minister will lead with the families and the foundations, with the ambassadors, as ambassadors are also representing families and their countries as represented in the Gallery of Leaders. Our council members, you will join the podium group as you lead as well. And all of us, we request that we follow after the 3-4 sections that I've mentioned. We're just working in a passage so that there is a bit of an order. We will wait for you, but we want the minister who's launching the gallery and our chairperson and our council members to be there, and the families also, and then you will follow. After that, we have, as per the directive of our minister, lunch is served, and it's a full lunch, minister, as we said. The families, we will request that with the ambassadors, you stay at Mushate with our traditional leaders as well. And the rest of us will just come here at the sanctuary. There is lunch inside and also outside. We have set out the tables. But I can assure you the food is the same menu, exactly the same. So thank you so much. Ms. Connie is there. She will just be leading us in front and we will all follow. I thank you for being such a brilliant audience. We invited you at very short notice, but you have shown up. We really appreciate that. We hope you will come back with your families. We hope you will support Freedom Park. You will also donate, sponsor our programs, your children to learn about who you are and where you come from. I thank you so much.
TV, eh? Que show la yabo Presley. Silent voice.
Only safe way, Charlie. It is long
Tomorrow popcorn.
and only.
I hate him. He messed up. Big time.
You're running away.
Oh.
that there is a heist that is legally illegal but naturally legal. This is the only safe way, Charlie. It is wrong. Let's just leave the cash and go separate ways.
Changing the game.
Miss the show live? No worries. With SAS TV, you can bring the magic of live theater right to your couch.
Jennifer Tlabone. Look what I found on SAS TV. Ke show ela ya bo Presley. Silent voice.
Only safe way, Charlie. It is long and only.
He messed up. Big time.
You're running away. Do you know that there is a heist that is legally illegal but naturally legal? This is the only safe way, Charlie. It is wrong. Let's just leave the cash and go separate ways.
Changing the game. Miss the show live? No worries. With SAS TV, you can bring the magic of live theater right to your couch.
Jennifer Tlabone. Look what I found on SAS TV. Ke show ela ya bo Presley. Silent voice.
Only safe way, Charlie. It is long and only.
He messed up. Big time.
You're running away. Do you know that there is a heist that is legally illegal but naturally legal? This is the only safe way, Charlie. It is wrong. Let's just leave the cash and go separate ways.
Changing the game.
As promised, I will be giving you the behind the scenes of the official opening of the permanent exhibition of leaders. And with me now is Jessica Glendinning. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thanks. And how are you?
I'm very well. Let's talk a little bit about today and what you get the feeling is around the Freedom Park.
Well, it's very festive here today. We've got music going on, we've seen lots of dancing, and so I'm feeling like a really celebratory mood here at Freedom Park. And of course, Freedom Park is such a massive monument. It's often quite a somber space to be in because it is a monument dedicated to all of the people who have died in conflict in South Africa, which of course is many and so many within our living memory. But today really is a celebration and you can feel it.
Any of the faces of the leaders that you've seen in the gallery?
I haven't been into the gallery yet. I'm really looking forward to that after it's opened.
No, good to have you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. And what are you most looking forward to, apart from the different cultures?
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Freedom Park has done with the gallery. I'm really interested, as cultural policy officer at the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. I'm looking a lot at how museums deal with different histories. So I'm really fascinated to see what kind of techniques they've used to bring these stories alive to the people who be visiting Freedom Park. So I'm looking forward to the digital interactive spaces, I'm looking forward to the storytelling, and I'm really looking forward to just an amazing museum experience, because Freedom Park for me is one of the best museums we have here in South Africa. It breaks a lot of people's idea of what a museum is supposed to be. It's a beautiful outdoor space, it's wonderfully curated, it's beautifully designed, it's hugely symbolic in every aspect of it. So I'm just really excited to see what they've done next.
Yeah. And in your opinion, what do you think are the similarities between South Africa and the Netherlands?
Well, I think that there's a lot of similarities. I think, we are two countries that are very multicultural.
Yeah.
We are two countries that are, very invested in democracy, in multilateralism and rule of law. We're aligned on a lot of different topics, so we're working together on a lot of topics. And I mean, there's some other really interesting similarities that you might not expect. We are all struggling with water. I mean, everyone in the world now is struggling with water. But the Netherlands, having been a country that has so much water for so long, with the different shifts in rain patterns and climate, they're now sometimes struggling with not having enough. So they're learning from South Africa on how they deal with that. And South Africa is learning from the Netherlands on how do we deal with too much water.
Yeah.
So, there's all of these, a lot of kind of similarities. And of course, we have a long history, a lot of which is not very happy. We have a real challenge with how we deal with this past history. And it's reflected here in Freedom Park. We have, of course, the Wall of Names, the International Solidarity, where we have the names of 6 Dutch people who were really involved in the struggle for freedom in South Africa. But we also have a wall that references the genocides, the early genocides of European settlers here. So the Dutch relationship with South Africa is strongly reflected in this memorial space, and I think that's also why it's so important to us at the embassy.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Jessica, for your time and speaking a little bit of time. Looking forward to seeing you inside of the camera.
Thank you very much.
Miss the show live? No worries. With SAS TV, you can bring the magic of live theater right to your couch.
Jennifer Tlabone. Look what I found on SAS TV. Ke showela yabo Presley. Silent voice.
Only safe way, Chade. It is long
Tomorrow popcorn.
He messed up. Big time. You're running away.
Oh.
You know that there is a heist that is legally illegal, but naturally legal. This is the only safe